Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame, and this is the recap review for Love and Marriage Huntsville Media Mania, or Social Mania. I think it's called Social Mania. Part one. So I don't know how many parts they're gonna have, but I feel like they are going to be doing this up until the actual show come back on in March. But it is what it is. Typically, I don't do recap reviews or even really discuss um when they do stuff like this. But the way that they're doing this, that's the only reason why I'm even doing it. Typically, it's just a big recap review in itself. And I'm like, we already went over this. So why is this happening? But like I said, the way they're doing this is the reason why. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so when it first came on, I heard a voice that was like doing a voiceover. And I was like, dang, that sounded like DJ Richie Scott. And it was him. Okay, I am subscribed to him on social media. I've been subscribed for a while to him, and they were showing flashes of various people who were going to be on this episode, speaking their piece on the social media of it all in relation to the cast of Love and Marriage Huntsville. Okay, now, so outside of DJ Richie Scott, they had Funky Dineva. They had a few moments where they had Dr. Heavenly Kimes, because she was one of the people who did interview Martell Holt. The Jasmine brand, they had somebody from Bossip, if I'm not mistaken. They had a reality TV star that I just recently, I had to Google her because that was going to tear my nerves up because I could not place where I know I've seen her from. But Maya Sly, I think is the way you pronounce her name. She is on it a whole lot. They keep showing her throughout the episode. And I'm like, what reality show was she on? Because all they kept saying was that she was a reality star. She was on Cutting It in ATL. I used to watch that, but I don't think I ever did any recap reviews on it. That was a good show. She looked good. This woman is pushing 50 and don't look it. Hallelujah in the name. Sis, you look good. I feel like I'm missing a couple of people, but those are the main people that we see throughout this episode. And I think however many other parts they're going to have to it. But yeah. So, basically they were just going over the fact that the show was airing and the show really took off and really like went in a whole nother direction once we found out that Martell was out here cheating. He was out here thotting and bopping. So apparently Melody went on social media one day. She went live, and the people who were following her at the time, because she had a smaller following, they saw her when she went live, and she got on there and she was talking about Martell and how he had another woman and all this other stuff. The heifer was pregnant or whatever. Like, a lot of tea was being spilled. And so everybody was looking like, wait a minute, this ain't what we seeing on the show. Like, there's a lot going on. What y'all mean? So it was just like, wait a minute. Like, okay, it had gotten to a point where people who had never seen the show, who didn't care about the show, which was most of y'all, let's just be honest, most of y'all did not care about this show because y'all saw Alabama in the title and was like, nope, it's finna be some country foolishness on another level outside of what it is now. And y'all was just like, nope, don't care. And that's just what it was. Speaking of, I want to address this. As I've already said in the past, there have been several people who tried to come for me simply because I do recap reviews on certain shows, okay? This was a show that I started doing recap reviews on before a lot of y'all's favorites who have a big following. People religiously try to come for me a couple of times a year. Usually it's just a handful of people, no more than 2 or 3. I've already gotten 2 to 4 people who've already tried to come for me within the last 6 months. The year just started now. The year has already literally just started. It's February. It's the end of February. People already have been coming for me. And it's just like, I'm going to need for you to get your facts straight. Because this is one of the few shows that I was doing recap reviews on before all of y'all's favorites who have the big followings. It's just a fact. Like, other people have really had to come in the comment section and read because they was like, yeah, nobody else was out here doing it. None of y'all's favorites that y'all love to try to throw in my face, like, ooh, this one doing this person, and this person. Like, people really was name dropping and trying to read me. Like, how dare you? You ain't them. And it's like, I'm not trying to be them. So what was actually the point of you coming over here? Because I'm not trying to be them. I don't monetize. I'm not trying to really monetize off of this, of doing any of this stuff that I post. I'm simply posting because initially when I first started posting, for those of y'all who don't know, I was going through a lot. I was going through a whole lot, and it was my escape. Outside of the fact that I don't have people who I can talk to about these shows when stuff pop off. And I really want to discuss. So I felt like, at some point, there might be one or two people who might want to talk to me and tell me their point of view about what happened on the show, or when I have my thoughts post, they want to say, oh girl, yeah, I heard about that. That's crazy. Or no, I ain't hear about that. Like, or whatever. And we just can create a dialogue and just talk. We don't always have to agree. We can definitely agree to disagree. But if you want to be disrespectful about it, if you want to come at me sideways, unprovoked, then that's when there is a problem. Because I have no problem with taking criticism. I have no problem with constructive criticism. I really don't. But there are people who really are wildly disrespectful for no reason. And that's just like, child, it's a way to say everything. There really is a way to say everything. But a lot of times when people come for me, it is unprovoked. And people really have tried me. And I mean, it has gone from Alex's mama, Alex, who was on Ready to Love, like one of the first seasons of Ready to Love or whatever. His mama tried me. Like, I'm just trying to say, his mama came at me and tried me. Who tried somebody who put out the information that almost nobody knew about, unless you saw the reunion that nobody knew was even happening? Because I found out on accident that the reunion was even happening. And I was just like, oh my gosh. And I just felt compelled to put out a video and ask everybody to pray for him, even though I did not like him on the show. I did not like this man at all. And he turned out to be exactly who I thought he was the entire time, even after the prognosis. So it's like, ma'am, who gets mad at somebody for saying, please pray for this woman's son? Please go over to the GoFundMe and give some money if you can, because the hospital bills are racking up. He is a business owner. He owns like trucks or a truck or whatever, but the insurance is basically non-existent, or it's not that great, or it's not paying enough of the bills, whatever the situation might have been. I'm trying to understand, because he's a human. He's still a human being at the end of the day. And despite how he reacts in his personal life, as far as it was on Ready to Love, that was neither here nor there. In that moment, I was just like, okay, it was what it was. He did what he did on the show. But something told me, go on here and tell the people, the few people that I do know that watch this show, about him. And I had no idea that it was going to take off. I had no idea everybody was going to set it off. There were so many people who flocked to my post that did not know that this man was in the hospital fighting for his life. But then his mama tried to come for me. Now tell me, how is that warranted? How is that warranted? Was she trying to come for me, trying to make it seem like I'm trying to get clout and I'm trying to get paid? How was I getting clout or getting paid? By asking y'all genuinely from my heart to pray for her son and to go over to the GoFundMe. Where? Do y'all see what I'm talking about? People really do stuff like that. His mama has tried me. It's like, I'm trying to tell, there have been people who have tried me. That was one of the more crazier, infamous moments that happened. And I was just like, ma'am, like, what's going on? Like people were like, where are you getting these updates from? I would legit tell them. On the GoFundMe page, his mama is saying certain things on the GoFundMe page, and I would just read it off, and that was it. She tried to come at me. It's like, ma'am, I asked the people to go pray for your son and to give money. The donations really went up once I said what I said. I'm just saying, like, it's like, why? Why? Like, you really set it off. And I forgot where the donation started. I forgot if I put it in that video as to how much was there at the time. But yeah, it definitely went up. I would go and check almost every day to see if there was an update, because that was crazy. I had never even heard of that. It was a brain flu. He had some kind of brain flu, and it was looking like he was going to die. In all actuality, that's the direction it looked like it was going in. He wasn't doing well at all. But yeah, he ended up being trash. He healed and came back from it. And he still ended up being trash when he came back to life, back to reality, and all of that. Y'all can look it up. There's so much stuff out there, y'all. He did Ashley wrong. It is what it is. So anyway, people really do be coming for me unprovoked. People have literally come to me and have been like, oh, this person, and this person has a bigger following than you. You trying to be like them. And it's like, that's not at all what's going on here. But anyway, go off. Go off though. That's not why I'm here. I'm simply here to talk to the people and say what I want to say about these shows, because I want to see if y'all seeing what I'm seeing. Because on a lot of these shows, I just be like, what is going on? Like, it's so crazy with some of these shows. I'm just like, why? Why am I even watching this? But it's like an accident that you cannot turn away from, like Tyler Perry's Sisters. Y'all already know. If y'all watch that show, y'all already know. We be down in the comment section talking about that foolishness. But anyway, people gonna try to come for me when I say what I'm about to say, which is, I was already doing the recap reviews on this show. Then I was confused because people started coming out of nowhere after the show was almost over, for the first season at least. And it just made news. It really was like making headlines. I knew when Tasha K, DJ Richie Sky, and Funky Nynaeva started talking about, I was like, wait a minute, where y'all come from? It was so random. It was so random that I was just like, where y'all even coming from? Y'all weren't even watching the shows. Funky Nynaeva was like, I don't even know what's going on. I ain't even never seen this show before. I'm having so much tea coming to me, people sending me stuff, people keep asking me, am I gonna watch the show, because they want to know if I'm gonna talk about it, and he was not interested in it like that. Then all this stuff started popping off, and he was just like, wait a minute, let me see what is going on over here. And DJ Richie Sky randomly one day, I got an upload notification because I'm subscribed to his channel, and he randomly said something about, I think he tagged Love and Marriage Huntsville or something. I was like, where you come from? That's when I knew it was like really real with him, especially with him and Tasha K. I was like, come on now. What is going on? So anyway, y'all, it had just gotten to a point where I was watching the show and I was just like, okay. But then it just got to a point where you would immediately have to like go online and be like, all right, now this is what they talking about on the show. What's going on online? Like, if you weren't following them people and seeing what they was tweeting and what they was putting on social media, then you didn't know what was going on. Like, you were gonna be left behind, and you would have been like late to the party. A lot of people would look at some people be like, y'all late. That been happened. They been said that. Like, people were really on social media like waiting for the beef to pop off. It was too much. So anyway, it was just so much mess that I was just like, I was not expecting this show to go in this direction. I legit thought that this show was going to be what I saw in that first episode, which was these amazing Black people who, for the most part, are from Alabama, and if not, live in Alabama, that are trying to bring awareness and build up certain communities in Huntsville and revitalize. I mean, in all honesty, y'all, as I've already told y'all before, Huntsville might actually officially in numbers be the capital right now, because I'm from the capital city, which is Montgomery, Alabama. Huntsville might actually have us beat by now. They are supposed to be a place that people are flocking to because of all the revitalization that's been going on. So I think one of the last times I checked, they did have the numbers for it, but I don't know if it was ever made official. But yeah, they got it going on. They got a lot of stuff going on. I visited before. I visited once as a child. I visited a couple of times when my ex, who was from Huntsville, Alabama, invited me. And I went and met up with his mama and other relatives that I only would have seen had I just only gone to Huntsville. So yeah, it was an interesting experience. Didn't really look that much like what I saw on TV because it's been some time. I was in college. That was the early 2000s. So, I mean, of course, it's been 20, 20 years, 20 some years or whatever, child. I mean, so I get it. So, yeah, it was just, yeah. It was just different seeing it on TV because I've been and, I saw the, what is it, NASA? What is it, child? I don't even remember what's going on. My head hurting, y'all. Excuse me. Get some more of this tea in me. No, excuse me. But yeah, we used to go. They used to have it where a lot of schools in Alabama, if they ain't do nothing else, they would go so that they could see that rocket. Hold on. Sirens, excuse me. I'm surprised there wasn't more activity earlier because it is the weekend. The people do be popping off. Let me put it in because I want to make sure I tell y'all the correct name. I don't know what's wrong with me. Huntsville. Um, Alabama. Okay. Huntsville, Alabama. And yeah. It's the U.S. Space and Rocket Center. Because I was like, why am I saying NASA? It's not NASA. It's the U.S. Space and Rocket Center. But yeah, a lot of people, a lot of schools set up field trips for them to go to that. I've been to that before as a child. I don't remember much of it. I just knew it was a long ride, and that's just what it was. But because I'm very into science, so I ain't really care about all that. I just wanted to hurry up and get on the inside and see what it was hitting for. Um, but yeah, I went as an adult, and we just went on the campus. What is that school that? The school that Melody went to, child. HBC. I don't want to say the wrong school name. That's all I'm trying to say. I don't want to say the wrong one, honey. Is it Alabama A&M? What is this? Because I'm looking at the emblem right now. The school that Melody went to, child. We went to that campus because, like I said, my ex was from there. He was in the band. Child, what is y'all talking about? He was in the band. He did all of that. And to me, it literally at the time, now Alabama State didn't upgrade it. Y'all know I went to Alabama State University. Alabama State upgraded like a whole lot. But back in the day, child, that was like a slightly lower level Alabama State. I was like, what is going on? I didn't know what was going on over there. Like, I'm not trying to read. Like, if you ever went on that campus, it just was what it was. Like, they were about neck and neck. Let me put it like that. They were about neck and neck with how the campus looked. But met some of his old bandmates and all this other stuff. We walked the campus. Like, it was cool. It was what it was. And it really wasn't much to see at the time when I went to Huntsville. We went up and down that main road doing little stuff. Something must have happened, Lord. Y'all, I'm sorry. I was like, what happened? But yeah, that's what was going on with that. Yeah, I think it's Alabama A&M, child. The campus that we ended up going to. Because he asked me, my ex asked me if I want to go up there. I was like, sure, we can go over there. I don't mind. This is your city. Show me around. It is what it is. So, yeah, y'all, it was just a lot. And I was just confused as to why everybody came out of nowhere who didn't care about this show. I was confused. It was just so random. So I was but yeah, like I was saying initially, like I really thought that, like y'all, I don't know if y'all remember that first episode. I remember that first episode like it was yesterday. They showed Melody and Martell come out of their house, that big old house that they had when they first started out on this show. And they basically were showing that black people was really out here doing it. They had all this money. They had their own businesses that they birthed and they created from the ground up. And I was very much so inspired. I was here all the way forward. I was like, I know that's right. Let's show Alabama in a good light. So I was here for it. So then they ended up going into the combat group situation. And I'm like, why is Melody so against it? What happened? And then like every time she said what she said, it started to make more and more sense. Every time she said, I ain't here for it. So I was like, wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. So yeah, it just turned from that. And then eventually finding out that Martell was out here cheating. And not only was he cheating, he ended up creating a baby out of the situation. Several. Where she decided to got abortions before. She actually kept the last one. And it's just like, child, this is too much. This is a whole lot. This is a whole lot. And I was just like, this is not what I was watching. What happened to what I actually started off watching when I started watching this show? I was so confused. So yeah, it was disappointing. It had gotten to a point where I just got to a point where I was just like, yeah, Lee. Then we end up seeing, how Kimmy was, who she was. I love Kimmy, y'all. I love Kimmy. I tried to be here for Letitia. I really kept trying. But you could tell how insecure she is. You can tell. And then like her husband has had his thumb on her the whole time. He done had her bogged down for so long that she don't even see how insecure she is. And it's like everybody else knows she is insecure but herself. It's like, ma'am, you over here, you gotta sit over here and basically trick your husband into going into therapy sessions and counseling sessions because he ain't gonna go. He ain't one of them men that's gonna willingly really go like that. So the fact that you had to trick him into doing all of this, it speaks volumes. He didn't even know you had issues until he went to these sessions. Or he's hearing it from the outside looking in. Then he getting mad and he feeling blindsided. And I'm like, child, but your marriage is so strong, Letitia. Oh, okay. Everybody else is trying to come in and rain on your parade. Oh, okay. I've always felt like Marcel was cheating. I think I've said this like in the first season. So I think I might have said once we found out that Martell was cheating, that I actually thought that was going to be the one. Out of everybody, I thought that Marceau was going to be the one out here thotting and bopping. So the fact that, everything is swirling now and people are coming out and they say they have evidence proving that, that actually is a fact, child. But yeah, there has been a trickle down effect from the friendships because Melody and Letitia had some sort of a friendship. And that went downhill fast, and it just was what it was. And then once they were on the outs, it was kind of like, well, if your wife against my wife, I guess we gonna be against each other too. But at first, they weren't really buying into it. But it seemed like as time progressed, they were like, all right, now you throwing shots at me. Okay, I got dirt on you. Don't make me have to do it. And it just became a sad situation. And to me, it just ended up perpetrating how a lot of people view us black people anyway. We messy. We have no couth. Look at all this drama. All y'all did was create another drama-filled situation. You might as well have went over there to Mona Sky Young if y'all was gonna do all of this. And I hate it because, like I said, when this show came out and I saw literally Alabama attached to it, I'm like, okay, Alabama is finally gonna be seen in a really good light. Look at that. And then, so yeah, y'all. But yeah, basically throughout this whole episode, they were just going over moments that happened and the fact that social media has been very big and influential because in a lot of cases, I know like back in the day, as I've already said before, a lot of the times you did not know what was going on real time with these people who were on these TV shows. I guess they signed contracts. If the people ended up pregnant, you ain't know because you were not seeing them. They had to have other people going to get stuff for them. If they had gotten into a relationship with somebody else that they didn't see as the show was filming, then they were in hiding until after the show aired and that particular part came out. Like, it was rules to it back then. But now, I already be knowing about it. It got to the point, y'all, I don't even watch Love and Hip Hop no more because it's like, for what? I already know about everybody. Everybody pregnant. Everybody doing this. Everybody doing that. I already know. It's like there's no mystery. Like there's no mystery to a lot of these shows anymore because it's all unfolding on social media now. But with the thing about this is that with this show, we seeing the stuff unfold on social media, and then it's being brought to the show, and the way that it's being brought to the show is like, dang, they doing the most. They are really doing the most. You know they call the side heifer coleslaw because of Funky Dineva or whatever, because that is a side dish. Cause she is a side heifer. The heifer is a side heifer. She just is. It is what it is. I call them side heifers. But yeah, everybody was tagging her, and everybody knows her as coleslaw. And it's crazy. It is crazy. Like it was to the point where they were watching the show and seeing stuff unfold on the show, and they would go on Twitter while the show was going, or before the show would end or after the show would end, and would say what they had to say and then tag coleslaw. The word coleslaw. And I'm like, child, this is fucking that even have started something, child. I was just like, no. And it's crazy how how something so factual turned into that. Like people ran with that. It just is what it is. She is a side. It is what it is, child. But it's just a mess. And I'm just ready for the actual season to come on because, as they've already shown on this particular little fluff piece, if you will, they're just going over everything we've already seen in the relation to how what we've seen on the show ended up getting translated online because of social media, and it's taken on a life of its own. You really have to be watching both interchangeably to be able to keep up. But anyway, y'all, hopefully y'all enjoyed this. Subscribe to my channel if you have not done so. Give this video a thumbs up. Let's talk about it down in the comment section. I'll see y'all later. Bye.